When most people hear the word vulnerability, they immediately associate it with weakness, exposure, or a lack of control. In reality, vulnerability is one of the greatest strengths a person can cultivate. It is the courage to show up as your authentic self with all your imperfections, doubts, and fears laid bare. Vulnerability is about being honest with yourself and others, even when there is a risk of judgment or rejection. It's not about oversharing indiscriminately or seeking attention. It's about being real and embracing your human experience. Small daily acts of vulnerability can transform your life in profound ways. For instance, admitting a mistake at work, sharing a personal struggle with a friend, or asking for help when you are overwhelmed may feel uncomfortable at first, but these acts foster trust and deeper connections. When you consistently practice openness, people begin to see you as genuine and approachable. This in turn encourages reciprocity. Others are more likely to open up to you, creating bonds that are based on honesty and mutual respect. Beyond relationships, vulnerability plays a crucial role in personal growth. Many people avoid vulnerability because they fear failure, embarrassment, or criticism. Yet, the moments that force us to confront our fears often become turning points in our lives. By allowing yourself to be vulnerable, you give yourself permission to try new things, take risks, and step outside of your comfort zone. It might be as small as voicing an unpopular opinion during a meeting, or as personal as expressing your feelings to someone you care about. Each of these moments strengthens your self-confidence and builds resilience, teaching you that discomfort is not something to avoid, but an essential part of growth. Habits that embrace vulnerability don't have to be dramatic. They can be as simple as starting a conversation with honesty, sending a heartfelt message to someone, or expressing gratitude openly. Over time, these small actions accumulate, rewiring your mindset to see vulnerability not as exposure, but as empowerment. Vulnerable people are often the most influential and inspiring because they demonstrate that being human is not a limitation, but a strength. They show that acknowledging your emotions, admitting mistakes, and asking for support are not signs of weakness, but hallmarks of courage. Psychological research supports this idea as well. Studies in emotional intelligence indicate that people who allow themselves to be vulnerable tend to experience higher levels of happiness, stronger relationships, and greater personal fulfillment. Vulnerability fosters empathy because when you allow yourself to be seen, you also become more attuned to the experiences and emotions of others. This ripple effect strengthens social bonds and creates environments where trust, collaboration, and authenticity thrive. Small, deliberate practices such as journaling about your fears, sharing your struggles with a mentor, or seeking feedback in a constructive way help integrate vulnerability into daily life. These habits gradually transform your mindset, allowing you to view challenges as opportunities to connect, learn, and grow. By consistently embracing vulnerability in manageable ways, you start to notice a shift in how you perceive yourself and interact with the world around you. One of the most powerful lessons about personal growth is that monumental change rarely happens overnight. Instead, it is the result of small, consistent actions that accumulate over time. These tiny habits, often overlooked or underestimated, have the power to shape the trajectory of your life in profound ways. Think of them as drops of water slowly carving a canyon. The individual drops seem insignificant, but over time they create something extraordinary. Tiny habits work because they are manageable, sustainable, and create momentum. Unlike dramatic life overhauls, which often fail due to lack of consistency, small habits are easier to integrate into daily routines, gradually rewiring your brain and behavior. Consider the habit of journaling for just 5 minutes a day. On its own, it might seem inconsequential, but over weeks and months, it becomes a tool for self-reflection, emotional processing, and clarity of thought. Similarly, a daily 5-minute walk or a brief meditation session might appear minor, yet these actions enhance mental health, focus, and resilience over time. Tiny habits compound in their impact because they create a foundation for bigger, more ambitious changes. When you experience the benefits of small habits, it reinforces the behavior, motivating you to take additional steps toward improvement. The process is gradual, but its effects are lasting. Small habits also play a crucial role in building confidence. Each tiny action you take toward vulnerability, productivity, or self-care acts as evidence of your ability to grow and adapt. For example, sending a thoughtful message to a friend, expressing gratitude, or acknowledging a personal shortcoming may seem minor, but these actions gradually strengthen relationships, increase self-awareness, and boost your sense of competence. The key is consistency. Repeating even the smallest action daily signals to your brain that this behavior matters, making it easier to maintain over time. This is the essence of compounding growth: small, intentional choices building upon each other to create significant long-term results. Habits also shape your identity. When you repeatedly engage in small positive behaviors, you start to see yourself differently. The shift from "I want to be confident" to "I am someone who consistently takes small steps toward growth" transforms your mindset. This identity-based change reinforces motivation and reduces reliance on fleeting willpower. Vulnerability and personal development are particularly influenced by tiny habits because they make challenging behaviors more accessible. Sharing a fear, asking for feedback, or acknowledging your emotions in small ways gradually strengthens your capacity for openness and courage. Over time, what once felt uncomfortable becomes natural, and the positive effects ripple across all areas of life. The beauty of tiny habits lies in their universality. They can be applied to emotional growth, relationships, career development, and health. The key is intentionality, choosing habits that align with your goals and values and executing them consistently. Even when progress seems slow or invisible, these small steps accumulate, silently transforming your mindset, confidence, and life circumstances. By embracing the power of tiny habits, you shift your focus from seeking quick, dramatic results to valuing steady, sustainable growth, which ultimately leads to profound personal transformation. Growth and transformation rarely occur in the comfort zone. In fact, comfort often becomes a barrier to progress because it discourages risk, experimentation, and self-reflection. Embracing discomfort is one of the most powerful ways to foster personal development and resilience. Discomfort comes in many forms: trying something new, having a difficult conversation, confronting your fears, or admitting when you are wrong. While these experiences may feel unsettling in the moment, they act as catalysts for learning and growth. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you expand the boundaries of what you consider possible, gradually building courage, confidence, and adaptability. One of the first steps to embracing discomfort is recognizing it as a signal of growth rather than danger. Many people instinctively avoid uncomfortable situations because they associate them with failure, rejection, or pain. Yet discomfort is not a threat, it is an opportunity. For example, giving a presentation in front of a large audience may trigger anxiety, but the act of doing it provides experience, skill, and self-assurance. Similarly, opening up about personal challenges with a trusted friend may feel vulnerable, but it strengthens relationships, fosters empathy, and encourages mutual support. Each moment of discomfort holds hidden lessons, shaping your character in ways that comfort never could. Small, deliberate habits can train your mind to tolerate and even seek discomfort. Start by taking micro steps that challenge you slightly beyond your usual boundaries. Speak up in meetings, try a new hobby, or have a conversation you've been avoiding. Each small act may feel uncomfortable, but repetition helps normalize the feeling, making future challenges less intimidating. Over time, what once caused fear or hesitation becomes manageable and even empowering. The key is consistent exposure to discomfort, combined with reflection. By analyzing what you learned from these experiences, You transform unease into actionable insight, gradually building mental toughness and emotional resilience. Discomfort is closely tied to vulnerability because both involve uncertainty and risk. Sharing your true thoughts or feelings, trying something new, or admitting mistakes all carry a potential for judgment or failure. Yet, these experiences often lead to the deepest personal and relational growth. People who embrace discomfort are more likely to take calculated risks, pursue meaningful goals, and develop authentic connections. They understand that progress rarely comes without effort, struggle, or temporary discomfort. The process of leaning into challenges, facing fears, and persisting through unease reinforces the understanding that growth is a journey, not a destination. It is also important to reframe failure as part of the process. Discomfort often accompanies mistakes, criticism, or setbacks, but these moments are not signs of inadequacy. They are opportunities to learn and adapt. For example, failing to meet a personal goal might reveal habits or patterns that need adjustment. Facing a difficult conversation might highlight areas where emotional intelligence can improve. By approaching these situations with curiosity rather than fear, discomfort becomes a teacher rather than an obstacle. Embracing discomfort is not about seeking pain or unnecessary challenges. It is about intentionally confronting situations that stretch your capabilities, challenge your assumptions, and push you toward growth. By leaning into discomfort, you cultivate resilience, self-awareness, and courage. These qualities transform not just how you handle challenges, but also how you perceive opportunities, relationships, and your own potential. Humans are inherently social creatures, and our relationships play a central role in shaping our happiness, success, and overall well-being. Yet, many people underestimate the transformative power of genuine connection and empathy. Connection is not just about being around people. It's about cultivating meaningful relationships where trust, understanding, and authenticity thrive. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is the bridge that makes these connections deep and lasting. By intentionally practicing empathy and fostering connection, we can create a ripple effect that not only enhances our own lives but also positively impacts the world around us. Vulnerability and empathy are closely intertwined. When you allow yourself to be open and authentic, others are more likely to do the same. This openness creates a safe space for mutual understanding where people feel heard, valued, and respected. Even small acts of connection, listening actively, offering a sincere compliment, or acknowledging someone's effort can have profound effects over time. These micro-interactions build trust, deepen relationships, and strengthen your social support network. Social scientists have found that individuals who nurture strong connections are happier, healthier, and more resilient when facing life's challenges. Empathy is also a skill that can be developed through intentional habits. Simple daily practices, such as asking meaningful questions, pausing to consider another person's perspective, or reflecting on your own emotional responses, enhance your ability to relate to others. Over time, this heightened empathy allows you to communicate more effectively, resolve conflicts more constructively, and build stronger, more supportive relationships. The process is cumulative. Each act of understanding reinforces your capacity for compassion, which in turn encourages deeper connections. Connection and empathy also have a direct impact on personal growth. When you engage with others sincerely, you gain insights into different viewpoints, experiences, and ways of thinking. This exposure challenges your assumptions, broadens your perspective, and cultivates emotional intelligence. For example, actively listening to someone share their struggles may reveal patterns in your own behavior or highlight opportunities for personal improvement. Relationships become mirrors that reflect both our strengths and areas for growth, and empathy allows us to navigate these reflections with kindness rather than judgment. In professional and personal settings alike, connection and empathy can be transformative. Leaders who demonstrate genuine care for their team members foster collaboration, loyalty, and motivation. Friends and family who practice empathy create environments of trust, support, and emotional safety. Even in fleeting interactions, like helping a stranger, acknowledging a colleague's contribution, or offering a kind word, empathy can leave a lasting impression, reinforcing a culture of understanding and connection. Over time, these small, consistent actions compound, creating a network of relationships that enrich your life and amplify your influence. Small habits strengthen these qualities further. Taking time to check in with loved ones, practicing active listening in conversations, or expressing appreciation regularly may seem minor, but these actions communicate that others are valued. As these habits accumulate, they foster an environment where vulnerability is safe, understanding is natural, and connections are authentic. In essence, empathy and connection transform not only the quality of your relationships, but also your perception of the world, creating a life marked by meaningful engagement, mutual support, and emotional fulfillment. Reflection is the bridge between action and insight. While small habits and daily routines shape our behaviors, reflection allows us to understand why these habits matter, how they impact our lives, and how we can grow from them. Without reflection, even the most consistent habits may remain mechanical, lacking meaning or alignment with our deeper goals. Reflection transforms mere repetition into conscious growth, turning actions into wisdom and experiences into learning opportunities. It is the process of pausing, examining, and internalizing the lessons from your daily life. One of the simplest and most effective ways to reflect is through journaling. Spending just a few minutes each day recording your thoughts, emotions, and experiences can provide clarity about patterns in behavior, triggers, and motivations. For instance, journaling might reveal that certain situations consistently provoke stress or discomfort, helping you identify areas for change. Similarly, reflecting on moments of courage, connection, or empathy can reinforce positive behaviors, making it easier to repeat them in the future. Over time, these reflections create a feedback loop. Actions inform insights, insights guide future actions, and continuous improvement becomes a natural part of your life. Meditation and mindfulness are also powerful tools for reflection. By observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, you develop a deeper awareness of your inner world. Mindfulness allows you to notice habits as they occur, rather than reacting on autopilot. For example, recognizing a tendency to avoid difficult conversations can prompt intentional action to engage more openly. Reflection in this context is not about self-criticism. It's about understanding, accepting, and learning from your experiences. This awareness fosters emotional intelligence, self-compassion, and resilience, enabling you to navigate challenges with clarity and balance. Reflection also strengthens the connection between vulnerability, habits, and personal growth. When you take the time to examine how small actions impact your life, you begin to see the significance of vulnerability and consistent effort. You notice that expressing gratitude, admitting mistakes, or stepping outside your comfort zone contributes to meaningful relationships, self-confidence, and long-term development. Reflection turns these seemingly small habits into a roadmap for growth, helping you recognize progress even when it feels incremental. Another important aspect of reflection is evaluating your alignment with your values and goals. Daily routines can become automatic, and without intentional reflection, it's easy to drift into behaviors that don't serve your purpose. By periodically assessing your habits, responses, and choices, you can make adjustments that bring your actions closer to your ideal self. This intentionality transforms life from a series of reactive moments into a guided journey where each habit supports your overarching vision. Finally, reflection encourages gratitude and perspective. By consciously reviewing your day, you become aware of achievements, lessons learned, and areas for improvement. This process fosters humility and appreciation, reminding you that growth is cumulative and often imperceptible in the moment. Each small step, when observed and internalized, becomes a building block for a more thoughtful, intentional, and fulfilled life. In conclusion, reflection is the key that unlocks the true power of small habits. While consistent actions shape behavior, reflection shapes understanding. It turns effort into insight, challenges into learning, and experiences into wisdom. By integrating reflection into your daily life, through journaling, mindfulness, or simple contemplation, you transform ordinary moments into profound opportunities for growth. Over time, reflection allows you to live more consciously, act with intention, and cultivate a life that is not only successful, but deeply meaningful. In essence, it is through reflection that the small habits you practice each day evolve into the wisdom that shapes your character, your relationships, and your destiny.